Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Maker and today I am teaching you how to set up and connect with your Cricut Joy. This is the Cricut Kickoff Lesson 1 and together we are going to set up our Cricut Joys together step by step. So please pull up a chair here in my studio and let's get started because we have an exciting little machine to open up. Now the Cricut Joy is a smart cutting machine that is very compact and portable. And while it is smaller, it's also smarter than a lot of other cutting machines. The cute little Cricut Joy can do things that some of the older cutting machines can't do, such as make continuous cuts up to 4 feet long, cut repeated shapes up to 20 feet long, and cut special material without mats, and make really cool and easy cards. The special card mats and insert cards help us do that. It's really cool and it makes an excellent starter cutting machine or a second cutting machine for those who just need something more portable. So here I have a brand new and still sealed in the box Cricut Joy cutting machine. I'm going to open the box, see what's inside, connect it to a variety of devices, my Mac computer, my Windows laptop, my iPhone, and my iPad, and an Android tablet. So basically everything, so everyone is covered. And then we will do our first cut together. My goal is to get you set up and able to do your first cut by the end of this video. This is really easy and you can totally do it. Now we do have something special for you, a totally free printable handbook that goes along with these free lessons. You can download it right now at CricutKickoff.com. Just register for this free class and you'll get the handbook. It gets emailed right to you and I'll be referring to this as we go along during today's lesson. All right, and one more thing, I want to remind you that you are not alone. I am here to help, as is my team and my amazing community of more than 500,000 Cricut crafters. Hang out here with me in my studio, take notes in your handbook as we go along, and if you get stuck, reach out and ask. I love to help, as does every member of my community. We are always here to help you succeed, and I mean that sincerely. Nothing brings me more joy than seeing you make things that make you happy. That is my favorite thing. All right, so are you ready to unbox this? Let's get down to it and get it done. All right, so the Cricut Joy. I'm always excited to open up new Cricuts. And let's begin by getting the box unsealed. And so literally we're just doing this together so that you can see exactly how it works. And then we're going to set it up on all of our devices so that you can get it set up for your device. I've got everyone covered. Ta-da! It comes in this cute little box. So this is what it looks like when you first open it up. So cute. All right, so in the back here we have a little envelope that says open me. All right, so inside your envelope, which is where I always recommend you start, you have your let's get started. So you have some documentation on how to begin, a piece of cardstock, a piece of vinyl, and a mat. This is a green standard grip mat. And then we have our warranty information in here and safety instructions. I always recommend you read those, okay? So we'll just set these things aside. We will want those. All right, so in our Let's Get Started pamphlet, so easy. So number one, go to Cricut.com/setup. We'll walk you through every step. And then number two, you'll be using the Smart Vinyl sample, which is this piece, this silver piece right here. We will use that in today's class. And your blade, which is already in your Cricut Joy. So don't be confused by that, okay? It's already in there. All right, so let's see. Let's actually bring it out. It doesn't weigh very much, a few pounds maybe. All right, so I want you to notice right away that there are things below your Cricut Joy here. So let's set this right here. So inside the box, just pull that up there. We have our power brick, our part of our power cord. Well, this is our power cord, but there's two parts to it, right? So There's the part that goes into your Cricut Joy and the part that goes into your wall, your Cricut pen. So here's the pen. We won't use this today, but we will use it during our third lesson on day 3 of Cricut Kickoff. And that's everything. Always check your box. I've heard so many stories of people not noticing those extra things down at the bottom. Although you need your power cord, so. All right, so save your box. I always save my boxes if you are going to move or need to ship anything or anything like that. You're going to want your box. It's the best protection for your Cricut. So we'll set this, we need to set it here, I suppose. All right, so here is our Cricut, and it's shrink wrapped. We have everything here. And I'm going to very carefully use my knife. You don't have to use that, of course, but it's so sharp, it's so easy. And take all the shrink wrap off. Isn't it cute? All right. There's our Cricut. So there's the Cricut Joy and everything that it came with. So we've got the Cricut Joy, our vinyl, our paper, our mats. Here's our pen. Here is our cable that we're going to plug into our power source. And this is the other half of the cable here. You see everything? Put everything back here. So this is everything. And then, of course, there is the envelope. Okay, so these are the things that we're going to use today. So what I like to do is follow the instructions that Cricut gives us. So go to cricut.com/setup and we will walk you through every step. Now I'm going to walk you through every step together. We're going to do it together. So that means that we need internet, right? So that actually does mean a few things, right? So let's talk about that, because it's now time to connect to our Cricut Joy. And to do this, first you need an internet connection. Cricut requires a broadband connection of at least 2 to 3 megabits per second, which really isn't that fast. My connection here at the studio is over 100 megabits per second, so most people will have no problem with this. Then you also need a device to connect your Cricut to, because the Cricut does not operate independently. So that can be a Windows computer running Windows 8 or later, a Mac computer running OS 10.15 or later, an iPhone or an iPad running OS 14 or later, and an Android running version 9 or later, such as my Samsung tablet right here. Now, I am going to show you how to connect to each of these devices, but let's go to a Mac computer and follow our instructions here first. So I'm going to switch over to my browser. So I'll be using Google Chrome for all of my browser work. So I'm just going to type in cricut.com/setup. There we go. So it brings us to this page, and I'm currently on a Mac computer, but don't worry. Again, I'm going to show you how to do this on everything. So I want you to notice when you come to this page, and then a lot of people get confused by this, there's a big green button down at the bottom that says open. And a lot of people just click this thinking it's the right thing to do, but it's not. So I want to be sure you know this. Instead, what you want is to download your software. But if you click it right now, nothing happens. So you need to click the I agree to Cricut's terms of service and privacy policy. You can click on each of these links to read them before you agree to them if you would like. So I'm going to click that, and once I do, I can download it. Okay, so we're going to download that right to our computer. Now it downloads, because I'm in Chrome, it shows up here at the bottom, and I can click here and just do open. It's the easiest way to do this. It's what I recommend. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Cricut Design Space. So what I get is this window right here on the Mac, and I need to drag this icon over into this folder. So if you're not familiar with how that works, you click on this with your mouse, you hold it, and now I'm holding it right down right now, and then I drop it right onto the folder like this, and it will go right into my applications folder. Okay, that's what we want. And so now we can go ahead and start it up, and I will do that. Here it is right here, but we're going to open up Cricut Design Space right here. So this is what we see after you have downloaded and opened Cricut Design Space. So down at the bottom, there's 2 buttons, nice and easy. There's one in green that says Product Setup and one that says Sign In. So you may already have a Cricut account, If you do, I still want you to click on product setup because we're setting up a new product. So this makes sense. So click on product setup right here. And that will bring you to the login. Now, by default, it will bring up Create Cricut ID. If you already have a Cricut ID that you've used for another Cricut cutting machine, or you've already downloaded this free software and played around with it, many people do this. If you are, by the way, don't have a Cricut, you can absolutely do all this with us, okay? So if you haven't already have an account, you can just click on sign in here and put in your email address and password. But I'm going to assume most of us need a new Cricut ID. So you're going to want to type in your email address and pay careful attention to it. Double check that you typed it correctly. Just look at it again. And then put in a password for Cricut Design Space, not your personal password for your computer. I want you to note that it needs to be at least 8 characters in length and have at least 3 of the 4 types. So it has to be at least have some lowercase letters, uppercase letters, some numbers, or a special character. By the way, reminder to put your name, the address, the email address, and the password that you are selecting right now into your handbook. There's a special section in here for you to record information about your Cricut. So we are on lesson 1, of course. So this is information about your Cricut. This is the setup checklist. This is what we're doing right now. And here's the page for your Design Space account. So this is where you can record your address and your password. Of course, keep this somewhere secure, but so that you're not forgetting, so you're not signing it up and just excited to get started and then forget your password. I've done that many times. So use your handbook, okay? All right, so going back to Cricut Design Space, I have a name and a password, and I need to put my actual name in and last name. And then you need to select your country. And you can scroll this list, but you can also just start typing up here and it will give you the country. All right, now at the bottom, this is grayed out right now. I can click on it and nothing happens. That's because I need to agree to the Cricut terms of use and policy privacy. We want to be sure that we've read this and agree to it. So once you click that checkbox, you can then create a Cricut ID. There we go. It's pretty easy. It'll be much easier when you're doing it. All right, so welcome to Cricut Setup. Please select a product type to continue. So we want the Smart Cutting Machine. That's probably clear, but just in case. I'm gonna click on this, and then here are the 5 current machines. We are unboxing all of these today, just not in this video. Today we're doing the Cricut Joy. So let's click on Cricut Joy. All right, so prepare workspace. You want to clear 10 inches of space behind the Cricut Joy. So here's my Cricut Joy, right? So what they mean is that you have at least 10 inches back here because your materials will come in this way and they'll feed through the back slot. See this slot right here? They'll feed through this and they'll need to be able to come in and out. So make sure you have plenty of space behind, at least 10 inches. Sometimes it's nice to have more. Of course, you can move it into position if you need to because it's so portable, right? But if you don't, so don't put it right up against the wall and then start using it. All right, so back in Cricut Design Space, we've got that. We've got the space, so we're gonna click this arrow button right here. And now we need to find an outlet. We need to plug our Cricut Joy into a wall outlet and power it on. I am prepared. I have an extension cable that I've already plugged into the wall. So it does not need to be a 3-prong outlet. You'll notice that this is a 2-prong, so it's all fine. So this is the back of the Cricut Joy. It's really very simple. There is one spot to put it in. Nice and easy. This is the part that goes into the wall, and then this is the power supply itself. That's what I think they call these two. A lot of times you'll see them put together and it's the power cord, the power cable, but they're separate when they come in the box. All right, so this part here goes into the back of your Cricut Joy. There's the back of it, and it goes right back into here, just like this. There we go. it does swivel, so I recommend that you actually swivel it like this out of your way so that it doesn't want any of the materials when they're coming out don't catch on your cord, right? So keep it off like that. And then here is the power supply, and there's the cables there. So we put those right in. There we go. And then we plug this into an outlet or a power strip or an extension cord. All right, so I have an extension cord right here. So I will just plug those in. There we go. See that light just came on right there? So it takes a couple seconds, but it's now powered on. So we have plugged our Cricut Joy into the wall outlet. We click that. Okay, so now connect via Bluetooth in system settings. So let me show you my system settings. So what we need is our system settings, which is in system preferences on the Mac. So Bluetooth is right here, right? So if you want, you can set it up right here. You'll see that it is down here and it says connect. So we want to actually click on connect right here to connect it. So again, I went to my system preferences on the Mac and I clicked on Bluetooth. My Bluetooth is on. So make sure it's turned on if for any reason you have turned it off, and then you'll want to look for your Joy, which is down here. It'll be in this section in the bottom. Sometimes it takes a little while to show up. You want to be sure that your computer is close enough to your Joy, or it can't pick it up. So make sure you're close to your computer. And also it has to be powered on or it won't see it. But I see mine right here, so I'm going to click connect. And there we go. Let's see. Right there, it says it's connected. If ever you have a Bluetooth issue, just keep trying. Make sure you move everything closer together, and also remove devices that you're not using, because sometimes it's a lot of stuff, right? All right, and I also want to be clear that the Cricut Joy is Bluetooth only. There is no USB cable for the Cricut Joy. So you need to have Bluetooth, but if for some reason you don't have Bluetooth on your computer, not to worry, you can actually get a very inexpensive USB dongle. I got this one off of Amazon. I will share the link with you. So if you need this, you can get these there, but you probably can also get them at Best Buy, anywhere where they sell electronics. It doesn't cost a lot, and you can put it right into your laptop or your computer. So don't let that worry you, okay? Most people have no issues connecting to their Joy. Let's go back to Cricut Design Space then and see what it says to do. So when this green button at the bottom lights up, that means we have successfully connected, and we can click continue. So go ahead and click that. So you need to give a little time to update. Cricut is always updating its software, and it wants to be sure that you've gotten the latest and greatest. It checks to see if you need it, and if it does, it gives you the option, not the option, you do need to update it if you want to continue. So I'll click update, and it reboots the machine. Do not turn off your machine while it is doing this. So just give it a little bit. How fast it goes will depend upon your internet speed, right? So mine shouldn't take very long for us to update. And when it's done, it'll tell us. There we go. So great, your Cricut Joy is up to date, and you can hear it. All right, so we click next. All right, so this is a great time to make sure you spelled your name right? If you didn't, you'll have an opportunity later to fix it. So you want to agree to Cricut's terms of service and then register it to that email address and that Cricut ID. And there we go. Your Cricut Joy is registered and set up. So I'll click next. All right, so now we come to Cricut Access. Now, Cricut Access is optional. You do not need to pay for this to use your Cricut or to use Design Space, okay? It is optional. You do get a free trial. I don't want you to start your free trial yet unless you are raring to go and you know you're gonna use it. So for now, I recommend that you say no thanks. And when you're on lesson 3, I will have you start your free trial so that you are making the most of it, okay? So I'm going to say no thanks for now. Just keep in mind this is optional. You do not need to pay for Cricut Design Space. This is Cricut Access is a subscription on top of that with a bunch of cool goodies. All right, so I'm going to click No Thanks. All right, so now we get to the Let's Test to Cut, and you can select an image to get started. So right there, I'm going to pause because not everyone has a Mac computer, and I know you'd like to see how to connect to Bluetooth on a Windows computer, an iPad or an iPhone, and an Android tablet. So I'm going to go through each one of those. They don't take any more than like 5 minutes each. So how to set up the Cricut Joy on Windows. I'm going to connect my Joy to my Windows, and I'm going to use Google Chrome to go to cricut.com/setup, which you can see right here. You get the same window you saw before. And again, you don't want to just click open. Instead, you want download. So you'll want to be sure to click the checkbox next to I agree to the Cricut terms of use, and then click download. So we go ahead and click that. And just like before, you'll see it in the bottom left corner. Click that arrow and choose Open When Done. This is the easiest way to get it installed on Windows, because when it's done, it just starts installing for you and it shows the progress bar. It's really nice and easy. And then it opens for you automatically once it's installed. So there we go, it's open. At the bottom we see our product setup and sign in. It looks very familiar, right? So click on Product Setup to get started, even if you have a Cricut ID already. You can sign in if you have a Cricut ID here. Chances are you don't, so we click on Cricut ID and put in your email address. Again, be careful that you spell it properly, so triple check it if necessary. And then your password needs to be a combination of lowercase, uppercase letters, numbers, and special characters. One of the 3 of those 4. And then you, of course, need your name, your first name and last name. And by the way, if you have more than one machine, you can use the same Cricut ID for all of your machines if you're curious about that. And then you choose your country. And don't forget that down at the bottom, you need to agree to the Cricut terms of use before you can create your Cricut ID. But then click that green button to begin. All right, and that brings you to your product type. So we click on Smart Cutting Machine. And then we will choose the Cricut Joy. All right, so again, we need to prepare our workspace and make sure we have 10 inches of space behind the Cricut Joy. Plug in the Cricut Joy. This is important to do this first. And then once that's done, we'll be able to connect it. Now, to do this, you click on the Windows button in the lower left, and you want to search for Settings. This is on the Windows, right? So you click Search for Settings, and you want the Bluetooth and other devices, which you see right here, and then click Add Bluetooth or Other Device. You'll get this window, choose Bluetooth again, and look for your Cricut Joy. It won't be there immediately. Give it a little time, be patient. Scroll up and down the list until you find it, and then click it, and it will connect. And then when it's good, you can click Done. And then go back to Cricut Design Space, and you'll see that button at the bottom is green, and click it to continue. All right, so again, you'll need to let it update. It doesn't take too long, as I said, but this is important so that you have all the right settings and all that good stuff. So it's going to update. Don't forget, leave it powered on. Don't move it around, just leave it right there while it updates. And when it's all done, it'll give you a button at the bottom of the screen. So click that next button to go to the next page. It's all set up, and then click Next again. This is Cricut Access, just like I told you before. We'll talk about that on day 3. So for now, I want you to just go ahead and click No Thanks. This is optional, very cool, but I want you to start your trial when you're ready to use your Cricut. So click No Thanks that you see right here at the bottom of the screen. And then you see the same test cut that you saw earlier. So we will stop here, and now we will go to the iPad. All right, so how to set up a Cricut Joy on iPad and iPhone. I'll be using my iPad, but it's the same. So if you go to cricut.com/setup, as your little green booklet says, which is what most people do, you'll see this screen, but this is not the right screen for you, actually. If you were to download this, as I showed for the Mac and the Windows, it would lead you, and it would be very confusing. So instead, you are going to go to the App Store on your iPad or iPhone. So the App Store is this blue button right here. Click that, and then click on search, and I want you to search for Cricut Design Space. This is important. You need the app on your iPhone or your iPad. So just type in Cricut. That should be good. You'll see Cricut Design Space. There's a lot of options. You want the one that says Cricut Design Space at the top right here. It looks like this one. It has a lot of reviews, okay? Don't get confused by something else. This is the one that you want. This graphic could change, of course. So then you'll want to get it. And so click that and allow it to download to your device. But you definitely want to be using the app for this. And then click open, and let it show you notifications. That's useful too. All right, so this will look familiar. You want to click on machine setup. That's important. Again, you don't want to sign in even if you have an account yet, because on this page you can sign in if you have a Cricut ID. So you would click on sign in and type in your email address and password if you have one, but if not, click on create Cricut ID here, and then you'll want to put in your email address. Again, double and triple check that you are tapping it in properly and that you've got your @ symbol and your domain for your email address correct. And then again, you need your password, a combination of upper and lowercase letters, and numbers and a special character. You need to have 3 of those 4. Don't forget to make a note of it in your handbook. And then you need, of course, your name and your first and last name. Again, if you have a second machine, you can be using that account. You don't have to have an account for each one. You'll see me doing that right now. That's just to keep everything straight. So put in your name and your last name and choose your country. And you can search for it just like that. And then be sure to click I agree to the Cricut terms of use and then click create Cricut ID. And that will bring you to your machine selection page. We're going to set up the Cricut Joy. So we're going to click on Cricut Joy right up here at the top. And again, we need to connect it just as I showed you. And then we're going to connect it to Bluetooth. All right, so when you connect it, you'll see this window with nothing in it. And you might be like, well, okay, now what do I do? Because you can wait a long time and nothing will show up. All right. So instead, what you need to do is you need to go to your Bluetooth settings. Now, I did have a Joy show up, which you can see right here. And so sometimes it will show up and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so just keep that in mind if you have to go to your Bluetooth settings. Cricut Access we'll talk about on day 3 of Cricut Kickoff. So for now, I want you to tap on Maybe Later. And that brings us to that same test cut that we've now seen for each of our devices. Okay, now, last but not least, let's do our Android. All right, how to set up a Cricut Joy on an Android tablet or a phone. I'm using my Samsung tablet. So again, we go to cricut.com/setup. So we just type that right in to our browser on our device. And that brings us to a page that will actually look a little different this time. It brings you to this page. So this one lets you know that you need the app, which is awesome. So click on download and it will send you over to the Google Play Store. Now, if it doesn't, or you just see something different, go to the Google Play Store. Search for Cricut Design Space. This is what you're looking for, and click on install. Give it some time to install it. It gives you a little progress bar. And when it's all done, you can click the little button that says open, and it'll open up Cricut Design Space for you. So nice and easy. So when you're first in there, you will see this screen. You want to click on Machine Setup. There we go. And then it'll give you the login screen. So if you are already have a Cricut ID, then you want to click on Sign In and put in your email address and your password. But if you don't, click Create Cricut ID and put in your email address. Remember to double and triple check it. And then you'll also want your password with your upper and lowercase letters, your special characters and numbers. Don't forget to make a note of both your email address and your password in your Cricut Kickoff handbook. And I'm a little slow here because I have to type it all out on my keypad. You can buy keyboards for the Android, but I don't have one. Then put in your name. Thankfully, it's the same on all of the devices, all the platforms, which I love this about Cricut. It looks and acts the same. So choose your country. Remember to click I agree down there at the bottom. Otherwise, you won't be able to continue. And then click Create Cricut ID. There we go. And that brings you to your choice of machines. And we're doing the Cricut Joy. So you want to click on Cricut Joy right up there at the top. So tap continue to continue on. And it does need Bluetooth access, as we know. So we click OK to give it permission. And we need to give it permission while we're using the app. That's what I usually do. So we have that. And there's our Joy. And you click it to connect. Again, you'll want to give it some time if you have any issues. It'll tell you if it's successful, and then you can click continue. And that brings you to your update page. So if there's any machine updates, it will check and update your Cricut for you. So you just click on update. If it's good to go, it'll tell you it's good to go. So you click on next to go to the next page. And that brings us to our Let's Test a Cut. So we are now at the same stage for all of our devices, whether it's a Mac, Windows, iPhone or iPad or Android, right? So everyone should know exactly how to get to the test cut. And now we do a test cut, nice and easy. We have our Cricut Joy powered up, updated, and ready to go. So let's go back to Cricut Design Space, and I'll be using my Mac, but it's going to look the same for everyone, so don't worry about that. All right, we have Let's Test a Cut. So we're going to select an image to get started. I like to select this cute sunflower. So I just click on it just like this and then click next. And it's going to tell us exactly what to do. So prepare for cut. Step 1, confirm that the blade is set in place with the clamp closed. All right, let's take a look. All right, so to open it, we just pull down on this. And inside, I want you to notice that there is a styrofoam insert right here. That is for shipping and making sure everything stays in position. So you need to remove that. So take out your little piece of styrofoam. I like to keep it in my box in case I need to ship it or move it or whatever. Then I can put that right back in there. All right, so we want to make sure our blade is in there. This is your clamp, and there's one clamp on the Cricut Joy. So to open it, we just open that up, and this is our blade. You see this? It's already in there, all ready to go. Isn't that cute? And you can push this plunger right here to actually see it, but you don't have to worry about that part. But it looks great. So it's in there. You don't have to take it out at all if you see it. Okay, I was just taking it out for you. So we have confirmed the blade is set in place with the clamp closed. All right, I'm going to click the next button. All right, now we want to insert smart vinyl under the guides and up against the rollers to auto feed. So this is our smart vinyl, as you'll recall. So this is what we want. So what we're going to do, so there are guides underneath right here, right on either side of the Cricut Joy. So we're just going to, like have it parallel to our surface, and we just gently put them under the guides on either side and then push it up against the rollers. And it takes it for us. It has a sensor that can see the material. It draws it in, makes sure it's all nice and straight and ready to go. And when we do that, we are now presented with this screen right here, which says we are ready to go. So we click on go. And it tells us the cut is in progress. There we go. And that's now cutting. Isn't that cool? Let me show you some other views as we're doing this. So here's a top-down view. It's just cutting away. So it doesn't take very long to make this sunflower. We just, I can see it. Can you see it at all? Probably not. But so the way that it works, this is a drag blade technology, and it, your paper, your vinyl, whatever, moves this way, and the carriage moves this way so that it can get very beautiful and precise cuts. and it knew what the setting was because this is our test cut, and it knows the material we're using because we're using this smart vinyl. In lesson 3, I will teach you more about how to determine material settings for other materials. So it's all done. The Cricut Joy doesn't have buttons on it, so we use Cricut Design Space to control it. So we click on Unload to unload our material. So we just click that, and it unloads for us, and we can just pull it right out. And you can see the cut on the screen. Look at how beautiful that is. The Cricut Joy does such a great job of lovely, precise cuts. Okay, so we have now cut it. That was our test cut, and we will actually talk about what to do with this like in lesson 3. You're welcome if you want to do something with it now, but I'm not going to have you do anything with it now because I like to take things in small baby steps so as not to intimidate or anything. So if you feel comfortable, you've used a Cricut before, go for it. You are welcome to do whatever you want with it. But in lesson 3, I'll actually show you if you want to do anything with your sunflower sticker, which is basically what we've made. All right, and I think that's it. We have successfully set up our Cricut Joy on Windows, Mac, iPad, iPhone, Android, tablet, and phone, and done our test cut. And wasn't that really, really easy? It was so easy. So just as a reminder, so tomorrow I'm going to talk about all of the tools and supplies that go with the Cricut Joy. And that includes like the Easy Press and everything. So we'll go over all the things. We'll talk about what smart materials are. We'll talk about cardstock and things to cut, all the mats, all the tools, the foil tool, everything. That'll be tomorrow. And then on the next day, on the 3rd day of Cricut Kickoff, we'll actually dive further into Design Space, and you will make some of your very first project along with me. I will teach you so much. It'll be so cool. All right, so if you've got questions about how to set up your Cricut Joy, please let me know. Leave your question below this video or ask in our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters, where you can get advice and ideas from crafters just like you. If you want to learn how to set up your Cricut Explore, Explore 3, Original Maker, or Cricut Maker 3, I have lessons on those cutting machines too. You can get links to those classes at CricutKickoff.com. Later today, I will show you how to set up the Explorer Air 2, the Maker, the Explorer 3, the Maker, and the Maker 3. They're all right there. And then tomorrow I'll be back for lesson 2, and I'll show you all the necessary materials and supplies that you can use for your Cricut Joy. Until next time, in our next class, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft the life you love.